All right, hey guys. I am recording this from a hotel room in California, where it is beautiful outside all the time. Um, this is a lecture for week 6, location-based social media and social review sites. One thing that's kind of a bummer about how I'm having to record this is that I'm not really going to be able to screen share. Just going to make it a little tough for you all to see some of the stuff I'm talking about, but it should be pretty okay. I'm not like super worried about it. But throughout this, like one of the ways that I'm getting determined if you watch this is that I've got 3 quiz questions hidden throughout this video, and you'll need to send in your answers to those questions along with your piece of your homework that's due this week. So your homework this week is 2 parts. One is due on Monday like normal, and the other one is not due for another week and a half, almost 2 weeks. So the part that's due Sunday, you'll just need to include your quiz answers in that. So, all right, here we go. So first thing I'm going to talk about is that mobile, so your ability to have the internet with you at all times has changed the way that people consume content. And it's changed the way that people consume news and video. And we've talked about this a little bit. But it's changed when and where people are consuming content. So you're not just, I don't know how many of you guys remember having to like go sit at your big desktop computer, and that was where you had the internet, and that was the only place you had the internet, or watching TV on TV, and that was the only place you had TV. So the form that you were consuming, like the medium by which you were consuming the content, dictated how and almost when you consumed it, right? Like if you wanted to watch the presidential debate, the only, back in the day, the only way to watch it would be to watch it on television at the time that it came on. So you would have to be somewhere with a TV, and you would have to be available at that time, right, in order to get that content. So form was kind of dictating how people consume things, but that's not really the case anymore because we have mobile devices. We've got, your computer. Okay, so let's talk about what mobile device actually means, right? Your desktop, your fixed desktop computer, not a mobile device. Your telephone that's wired into the wall, not a mobile device. Your laptop, when we talk about mobile in like a user experience and design kind of way, technically not a mobile device, even though it can move around. It's one of those weird gray areas, but it's, when you design for mobile versus desktop, like laptops are considered desktop. I know. iPads, Samsung Galaxy, like the big Note things, your smartphone, those are all mobile devices. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about mobile. And when you create stuff, it's important to think about not just how it's going to look on your computer, but also how it's going to look on your mobile device. So when you're figuring out your layout for your blog, most of them are already made to be mobile responsive, which means that they can be this size or they can be dropped down to this size. And the architecture of the way that they work is still going to be pretty much the same. It's going to look a little different, but it'd be pretty much the same. So thinking about creating things like photos and videos and text, you don't get to control anymore how or when people are consuming that stuff, right? Like you could be watching this video of this lecture on your phone or, on your computer or while you're sitting in another class. I really hope not. I don't get to decide when you watch this, right? You could just be watching it on Facebook in the Facebook group. But the point is that this video works in all of this context, right? And a lot of that is through design and the way that we treat video on the internet. But something to think about when you're creating content is like where people are going to be consuming it and what what's most not necessarily most important, but just kind of thinking about where they're going to be consuming it. Like, are you writing a really long form article? Do you maybe need to break the paragraphs up a little bit more and not have like a, huge long paragraph in case someone's reading it on their phone, where it's a little more difficult to read like a, wall of text? Something to think about. But what I really want to talk about tonight is mobile, mobile, and then how we use location in social media and in storytelling, and then social review sites. So in your reading, and I know you guys are going to refer to the reading in this quiz, like that's totally fine. Like it's, just, it's okay. Like it's okay. One of the articles that I'm asking you to read is called Six Reasons Why Most Journalists Are Underestimating the Mobile Revolution. So your first quiz question is name one of the six reasons. So mobile is because it's so new. Like journalists aren't always using it to its full potential. One, because mobile developers can be hard to come by. But thinking about all of those reasons that are in there, like one of the reasons talks about social media being easy, right? Because it's already made for you and it's convenient and everybody can do it. But mobile requires a little higher barrier to entry, especially if you're creating like an original like mobile storytelling platform as a journalist. So thinking about how your content, how your stories are going to be distributed, and how people are going to use them. So this in the story it says mobile is not just another form factor, but a completely new medium from content to monetization. So that means that from the way that content is created and presented to the way that stories and websites are monetized can change a little bit if it's on mobile, right? Like if you have an app, you can have in-app payments, or you may have extras that people can purchase, or the way that your ads display on a story may be different in mobile than desktop. You may have less places to put them. So the way that you create your content and then the way that you fund your content is different on mobile. So continuing the reading, it's a fundamentally different mindset focused on solving problems in a new context. We can't just shorten content and shovel it into phones or create responsive design and say we have a mobile strategy. So we need to think about how we can create content. NPR, I think we've talked about this. NPR has a model of, it's called COPE. It's create once, publish everywhere. And what that means is their whole thing is that they tell a story in one place. So they write their story in their content management system. And the way that they've structured that story and the way that they've structured their content management system helps it be publishable across all platforms. So on an iPad, on a phone, on an Android, and still work and still have all of the necessary information. The integrity of the story is still there. This is probably going a little beyond, we're definitely going a little beyond social media here, but it's just something I want you to think about. It's not anything I'm going to ask you to do. You're not going to have to create a CMS or create an app. It's just something I want you to think about. If you haven't yet, pull up your WordPress site on your phone and see how it looks. Like, does it look different? Is anything broken? So just, something I want you to spend a little bit of time with. So, location. All social networks include some kind of location, right? Like location tagging is a part of Facebook, it's part of Instagram, it's part of Twitter. Snapchat is doing some really cool things in the reading, if you read. Snapchat is doing some really interesting things with surfacing art based on your location. So all of the major social networks have location built into them. And that's important, right? It's not just important from a collecting data standpoint, right? So that, how many people were at a place, or at an event, or, somewhere at the same time, or being able to see, everything from that one thing. Like, that's great. But location does a lot of things for a story, right? So first of all, it adds context. And we talk a lot about context, but location adds the where. So, the 5 W's of journalism, and the why, 5 W's and an H, how. Um, those 5 W's, like one of them is where. And so location is a part of every story, right? Like you're never going to cover a story and be like, it doesn't matter where it happened. Like it does. So it adds context, like being able to add a place to it adds context. And being able to tag that location and have people be able to click or tap on the location that you've tagged and see everyone's post related to that location adds an extra layer of context, because then you're not only understanding that place in terms of the story that you're reading or the post that you're seeing from it, but in terms of like the larger whole of everyone who's ever been there, right? Like your picture, tagged meme in journalism building, doesn't tell the whole story of the building, right? But if you tap on meme and journalism building in Instagram and you see all the pictures taken there, you get a much more complete picture of what that building is and what it's like. So location is important for providing that context. It's also important for helping people feel like they're there. Um, Knowing where something happened, even if you're really far away or you're not, you may not know what that place looks like or have a good frame of reference for like exactly where it is. Knowing where it is kind of helps people shape their perception of the story and of the place. Um, the internet, like one of the greatest things about the internet is it gives us the ability to connect with each other in spite of our physical location. So, like right now, I am 2,000 miles away from you guys, but I'm able to connect with you because of these applications and the internet, like allowing me to make this video and share it with you, regardless of the fact that I'm here and you're there. So there's that. But it also helps people share experiences regardless of timing. So, sure, things like Facebook Live and Periscope are trying to encourage people to have the same experience at the same time, like that same experience of watching something as it's happening, like watching that live video. But it also saves that video so that people can come back and see it later, right? Like, I'm not streaming this live right now because YouTube live streaming is a nightmare and I was having a lot of trouble with it. But you guys are going to get this message and this lesson, regardless of, like, you're going to have this experience with me, regardless of the fact that we're not in the same place, that I can't see you, that we're not gonna, like, you're not watching it as I'm doing it like we normally would in class. So we kind of have this amazing ability to share information and share experience regardless of where we are and when it is. Um, Location is also social because when you're covering an event, um, especially when you're covering an event or something that's happened at a place, or writing a restaurant review, or talking about a trip you took, location is social, right? Like when you're at a place, you are physically in that place, usually with other people, right? Like if you go to a football game, your location is inherently social because you are at that location with all of these other people having a social experience, right? Like whether you talk to them or not, like it's a social experience. So um, having that experience in person and being able to translate it into your posts and your blogs and your online content, you can't really do that without talking about the location and without knowing where you are and having, hopefully some photo and video of it, having some information about the place that will help you tell your story and help people feel like they were there. Um, there are also like whole websites and apps that are centered on your location, right? There's Foursquare, which calls for people to check in at places. Foursquare's actually changed its name, and I can't remember what it is. Hold on one second. I'm going to look it up. Maybe. Oh, nope. It's still called Foursquare. I was wrong. So what it does is Foursquare allows you to like walk around a city and check in at a restaurant or a music venue or a bar or wherever. Um, and you can see everyone else who's been there. You can see everyone else who's there right now. But you can see like short reviews that people have left of the place. So if you're in a new city and you're hungry and you know that you want Thai food, you can look up Thai food in Foursquare and you can see like all the places and go to the place and see how many people have checked in there, reviews of the place, like what it's known for. And it gives you a little bit of an idea of that location. Even if you've never been there, it kind of attaches some information like an address, a phone number, operating hours, reviews. Like it attaches that information to the location so that you have all of it. But it's also social because you can see who else is there. So you see like little pictures of who else is there. You can see like who's the mayor of a place, so like who's been there the most times. And it's kind of gamified too, in that you can collect badges and things from like walking around and checking in at places. So it's bridging a gap between a social network, like a location-based social network, and a review site. All right, before we get into review sites, second quiz question. Second quiz question is, according to 538.com, it's FIVETHIRTYEIGHT.com, what is each candidate's chance of winning the presidency as of when you look at it? So I want you to go to 538 and click on there. It'll be on the right sidebar. And I want you to look and see what Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton's chances of winning the presidency are. And when you put this in your email, just put what day and time, because they update like every 3 hours. So, all I need is the percentages and just when you looked at it. All right. So, social review sites. Social review sites are sites that allow people to talk about their experiences in the context of a place or a thing, right? So they're sites like think Yelp, Angie's List, Foursquare, like we talked about, Google. Google allows you to leave reviews. It's basically any site where you can review a service or a place or product, like Amazon is technically a social review site. So you're creating content, and a lot of these allow people to comment back and forth to each other. So there's that kind of social networking component where you're creating and sharing content, and you're also able to connect with other people and see who all, see who else has been there, friend them, comment on their reviews. So you're social networking, but in the context of leaving a review for a place or a service. So a lot of sites do this, and unfortunately, I can't screen share. But I want to talk a little bit about Yelp, right? So every city has a Yelp page. If you go to yelp.com, you'll see, just type in Memphis, and you can look up restaurants or, bars, stores, like retail shops. So I'm going to look up, let's see, I'm going to set mine to Memphis because it's set in California right now. I'm going to look up Ching's Wings. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Ching's Wings. It's pretty close to campus. They have really amazing hot wings. So I'm looking at Ching's on Yelp, and I'll post a screenshot in Facebook. But when you look at Ching's, what you see is you're seeing the rating for, how many stars it has. So it's got 4 out of 5 stars, 88 reviews. So immediately like, oh, that's a lot of people. Like, a lot of people have been there. A lot of people have taken the time to write a review. Not everybody takes the time to write a review. And you'll notice that when we start actually looking at the reviews. So if you scroll down, you look at the reviews. On Yelp, you're immediately seeing recommended reviews. So you can turn those off, and you can either have it sorted by Yelp sort, which is like their algorithm, and it surfaces what they consider to be the most relevant reviews of a place. Businesses can't pay to have their reviews go higher on Yelp, so they're not like ones that the business has chosen, but it's the ones that Yelp has identified either through how often a user has been there, or how many reviews that user has posted, how many friends they have, how much influence they have in their circle. So you can, that's the default, but you can go newest first, oldest first, highest rated, lowest rated. So I'm going to look at newest first. And you see kind of a range of things. And when people write reviews, like usually you don't write a review if you feel about something, right? People tend to write reviews when they have a strong feeling one way or the other. So you have high reviews and low reviews, and you've got some in the middle. There are definitely some in the middle, but they tend to kind of fall on either side because if you have kind of no feeling about something, it's a little more difficult to motivate yourself to write a review. So you're seeing the reviews, and in the reviews, it's interesting because Yelp allows you to share them. So you can share a review to Facebook or Twitter. So you share somebody else's review. You can embed the review if you want to embed a review that you wrote of a restaurant or a review that someone else wrote of a restaurant into a blog post or a review of a store. Like you can embed those from Yelp. You can send the writer a message. You can compliment them. What's interesting when reading reviews is noticing how they're written, right? So there are the reviews that love everything about a place. There are the reviews that hate everything about a place. And then there are the ones that, came in prepared for an experience, but something went wrong, or came in prepared to be, underwhelmed and were over, like excited about it. So it's really important to kind of try to get a sense of context in your reviews and a sense of like motivation of where the person's coming from. Like, are they trying to, get something out of it? A lot of places, like if you have a negative Yelp review, and this is good. This is like good social media practice for a business or mostly businesses. For a business is to respond to negative reviews and leave a comment or send a message to the person who wrote it and be like, hey, I'm so sorry that you didn't have a great experience. Like, I'd like to make it up to you. um, you know or explain what happened that night, or follow up with them to see if there's anything you could do better. Like, people really appreciate that kind of personal touch, that like personal follow up, especially if they have a negative experience, right? Like if someone's telling you that your business is the worst and is awful, and that they had to wait like an hour, and they're but they came in really excited about it and wanting to like it, and the food was great, but the wait was just awful. And that's something a business owner can address, right? They can go on to Yelp and they can say, hey, that night we got hit with an unexpected party and I'm so sorry. And, if you'd like a free appetizer next time, just bring this review in. So it's a way of kind of smoothing things over. But you want to look for reviews that are actually helpful. Like the people who hate everything, like haters are going to hate. And we'll talk about this a little bit more, I think, next week. But haters are going to hate. And if a review is all negative and you can tell that they went into the experience all negative or went into the experience all positive, it can be a little harder to take those reviews seriously. So you need to read like with a grain of salt when you're reading reviews and also when you're writing them. So Yelp, Facebook also allows, if you go to a business's page, I'm looking at the Young Avenue Deli's Facebook page, and they've got a whole section in the left sidebar for reviews, and you can see, other people's experiences there. And so we talked a little bit about how reviews are important, but why, right? Why? Why do I care what all these strangers think about this restaurant or whatever? What those strangers are doing for you is that kind of collective wisdom of the crowd is people helping each other, right? It's people saying, this is the experience I had. This is what I thought. And all of that together, like all of that collective wisdom combined into one place, helps you get a better sense of what kind of place this is. Maybe if you're looking at, the Young Avenue Deli's Facebook page, they can talk about themselves however they want, right? Like they can say we're family friendly and we're smoke free and whatever. But if you read the reviews, maybe you see that, oh, it gets really loud after like 9 p.m. and it gets a lot less family friendly and there are bands and, it's great for like playing pool and hanging out. Like you get a more nuanced perspective of what a place actually is when you combine the wisdom of all of these people who have gone to the place. And it paints kind of a clearer picture of what you're getting yourself into by going somewhere or by reading that book or by hiring that plumber. Angie's List is a review site geared towards service professionals. So you need a plumber or a doctor or whatever, Angie's List will kind of allows people to review their experiences with different professionals. Um, so that's really the main point of reviews, is that collective social wisdom being aggregated in one place, and people being able to comment on each other's and create reviews and add that layer of nuance to what otherwise would just be a business talking about itself, or a product, an Amazon product talking about itself. All right, so the last thing for your quiz is that I would like you to write me a brief haiku, which is 3 lines, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. You've probably written a haiku before. Write me a haiku. And I would like you to write me a haiku about location-based social media. And it can be based on a lecture, based on the reading, based on just something you know. So questions where you got 3 questions. So one at the beginning, there's the one about the election, and then there's writing a haiku. So include those in the email with your homework. And I'm going to keep this lecture kind of short because I feel really weird talking to myself, first of all, but it's also, there's a lot of discussion that we're not having, that, we would have in class. And I'd like to kind of circle back to this when we're all together next week. But one thing I want to go over is your homework tonight. So your homework tonight is a little different than usual because you're turning it in 2 parts. So the first assignment is due on usual time, Monday midnight. And you need to write a review. And you can either write it on Facebook or Yelp, but write a review of a local business, a restaurant or a bar or retail store, whatever. Write a review of a local business. And then I want you to and make it complete, right? Add a photo, give it a rating, make it thorough. They all kind of give you a little form to fill out, make it thorough, because those forms, when you start things, or when you say that yes, it's kid friendly, or yes, it's smoke free, you're helping establish what the place actually is. So I need you to make it thorough. So write your review on Facebook, Yelp, Angie's List, wherever. I don't care what it's of. Include a photo, and I want you to send me the review along with your answers to your quiz questions, and that's due on Monday. Second assignment is your live event coverage assignment, and I'm going to post all of these details to Facebook because I've got a little document going. So your live event coverage assignment is that I want you to cover a live event related to your beat. So your topic, it has to be topic related. It is due October 10th, which is the Monday after next at 11:59 p.m. Late work, Tuesday. You have almost 2 weeks, so I'm expecting a little bit of greatness. It's also worth 40 points, which most of your assignments are 10. This is 40. I expect a little bit more effort. So here's what you have to do. Number 1, you have to go to a live event related to your beat. If you're writing about sports, go to a sports event. If you're it has to be a live event, something that you can participate in real time. Now, I know for some of you that's going to be a little bit difficult, but keep in mind that live events, I'm open to a little bit of interpretation. So keep in mind that a live event could be an event that you're viewing through the context of your beat. So let's say, you're writing about your experiences, being in the U.S. for the first time. I don't expect you to try to find a gathering of exchange students, right? Think about what festival or place, or, what festival or event that you could go to and write about through the lens of your topic. So you can do that. Your live event does not have to be physical world. It can be a digital live event. If it's a chat or a live streaming video or something like that, but you need to participate it live, right? Not go back and do it later. You need to be participating in it in the moment, because while you're at your event, you need to post at least 5 posts to 2 or more social networks. I recommend picking one network as your main one. So Twitter or Instagram or whatever, pick a network as your main one, and then adapt a few of your posts from that network to another one, right? So think about Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Vine, Periscope, Facebook Live, you know, Snapchat. That's fine. You can use stories. It's whatever. So I want you to post from the event, and I want you to follow those live event coverage guidelines that we talked about a few weeks ago. And I expect you to do some basic reporting, right? Take pictures, take video, take notes. I want you to talk to people because this is going to be important later, right? Like you're doing that basic reporting when you're covering the event on social media. But after the event is over, you need to write a blog post about it. And the blog post should expand on your live coverage to be a full story. So if a basketball reporter from the Daily Helmsman goes to a Tiger game, maybe they might tweet a few times during the game, take a few pictures, but after the game, he's going to sit down and write a full recap of the game for the Helmsman, right? That's going to run on the website and the paper. That's going to include like a lot more detail and like the full story. So you're going to post your 5 posts like live during the event. Also, all of them have to include a hashtag. So, like an event-specific hashtag. So, if you're covering an event that has a hashtag already, use that. If not, you need to create one. But it needs to be event-specific. So, don't just like tag it with the class hashtag only. Like tag it with the event hashtag too. Use class hashtag, and these can count like as your photo of the day. And then you're going to write your blog post, and then you're going to email. One email. Please do not send me 6 individual emails. You're going to send me one email. And that email is going to send me links and or screenshots to your 5 social media posts that you made during the event, and then a link to your blog post. Also, your blog post needs to be at least 200 words and include at least 2 photos. So this is a bit more like full coverage. And like I said, I'm going to post these details so you can see them and have the standards by which your homework will be judged. But thank you for bearing with me this week while I've been gone, and I will see you guys next week. I may be a few minutes late. I'm getting out of a meeting at 5 and then coming straight to you guys. So please bear with me. I will keep you updated through Facebook. We will have class next week. Even if I'm a few minutes late, we will still have class. So like, please don't leave. Just wanted to go ahead and give you that heads up, but hopefully I won't be late. All right, y'all have a great weekend, and I look forward to getting your assignments, and hopefully I will have some time to grade tonight. So, bye guys.